We are excited for another great admitted student week. I hope that you get a chance to enjoy a lot of our great sessions this week and get a chance to meet students, faculty, and staff from around the Brown School. My name is Josh Valewa, and I serve as the Associate Dean of Student Affairs for the Brown School. I've been in this role since September, but I've been at the Brown School since 2015 and at the university off and on since 2003. And so I want to turn it over to my colleague, Deshaun, to introduce himself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Deshaun Scott. I use him, he, him, his pronouns. I am the Assistant Director for Student Engagement, and I've been at the Brown School since last year in January. So I've been here for a year and 2 months now.
So Deshaun last year was in the same position in a different way than many of you all will be this coming August, and some of you in the summer when you join us for Bridge to Brown for the social work program. So we're excited to talk to you about a part that's near and dear to our hearts, which is the work that we do to support our students outside of the classroom. I think that you can't separate the two areas necessarily, but there's a lot of life that happens outside of the classroom and a lot of ways to stay connected and get connected while you're here at the Brown School. And so we do hope to share some of those resources that we have available for you in our great institution. All right, so at the Brown School, we have a student-centered approach. And it's really interesting. I think you'll see from our practicum experiences to even classroom experiences to even interpersonal experiences, we do rely on you as adult learners to really work through and figure out a lot of the things when it comes to your learning, to identifying and what you want to do in your careers, and to supporting you along the way. But obviously, I've learned in this life that we don't make these decisions on our own. And so there are a whole host of people who are here to support you. And our focus is really on putting you at the center in everything we do. What you see on the screen right now is a list of various departments that are both within the Brown School and outside of the Brown School who are here to support you. A couple that I would love to highlight is our student affairs team. And so those are the people who support you when it comes to engagement, when it comes to academic advising, when it comes to dealing with difficult issues. Grad school is still alive. We still go through challenges both in and outside of school, and we're here to support you there as well. I'd also like to point out our library. I wanted to take a brief moment to talk about our libraries. When you are in graduate school, and some of you who are either coming to us directly from undergraduate, or it's been maybe several years or longer, one of the underutilized resources I remember from my undergraduate experience was the library, and our library professionals are really wonderful for helping you find the best resources to help you navigate your academic work. We'll talk about some of these other departments later. There are some other opportunities that we provide. We have town hall meetings with our deans. When we're back in person more fully, we host something called Caffeine with the Dean, which allows students to get a chance to hear updates on the status of the Brown School and to ask questions. Our dean and our dean's group meets with student leaders along the way, and then we try to assess your experiences both in the classroom and outside of the classroom to make sure that we're continuously providing support for you as well. Deshaun, do you have anything to add here?
No.
Yeah. All right. So that was a whole list of a lot of people. And so the question we put up here is, what can the staff at Brown School help you with? And there's a lot. So everything from your entry point, you've already engaged with staff in admissions and recruitment and supporting you and communicating with you about the Brown School and really helping you understand if this is the best place for you. All the way to your alumni stage where you're here with us after you graduate. And so there's a lot of different things we can do here. So we can help you with career advice, academic advising. You do get a few advisors. You get an academic advisor, a field advisor, as well as a faculty advisor to help you navigate. And everybody has different roles, but again, it's this holistic approach to supporting you. When it comes to funding your education, we have our dedicated assistant director for financial aid who will help you navigate that part of it. When it comes to, again, not just figuring out the cost of school itself, but your living expenses and everything else that goes along with that. As far as physical and mental health, we have a great gym at the athletic complex, which is called Summers Athletic Complex, and it's complimentary to all students who are enrolled at the Brown School, but we also have mental health services through Habit Health Center. And then again, we have a student support team who can help make connections for you if you need some support there. We partner with disability resources to provide accommodations for students who have needs inside the classroom to help them, whether it's more time or accessibility or other options as well. Again, the university has a bus system, shuttle system that goes to limited places around the campus and all over campus, which is a great resource for you as well. And then our IT center supports you with things like simple questions like the printer isn't working. We have great folks here who can help you. So that's a long list of things to say. Really, we can help you with a lot of different things. And my recommendation to you is when you join us at the Brown School, that you identify 1, 2, maybe even 3 faculty or staff in particular, in this case, staff, who are your go-to people. Even if I am not the person who does IT stuff, because I'll be horrible at it and you would be really upset with me, I know the person who can help you with that. You know, even if you have a question about practicum and you know that I'm not the practicum person, but you're trying to figure that out, I can at least refer you and get you connected. And that's the role that we have here as staff people. So we are going to talk about a few things here. Our student affairs team, again, is made up of a wide variety of professionals. And Deshaun, I don't know if you'd like to talk a little bit about student groups and how students get engaged there. If that's going to come up later, I don't remember exactly.
It will come up later.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to cover that as well. We're going to spend some time talking about career services because when you enter grad school, you know, I think most people are thinking about what am I going to do afterwards, whether that's additional education, getting a terminal degree like a PhD, an MBA, a law degree, or whether that's going into the workforce and starting a career. We're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like. And then I mentioned before a holistic advising process as well. So your academic advisor is a staff member who would typically hold other responsibilities here at the Brown School, but their main job is to help you in this part of their role is to help you navigate the curriculum, to make sure that you are signed up for the appropriate courses that you need. They're in constant contact with the registrar's office, our faculty leaders, and even sometimes our concentration and specialization chairs to make sure that they are staying on track and keeping you on track towards graduation. Our goals are to help you feel supported and informed. Of course, our academic advisors, being that they hold other positions around the school, can connect you with a lot of resources as well as directly support you. So we do encourage you to develop relationships and engage with them as much as possible. We want you to engage with your faculty and practitioners, of course, who are going to help you to land that ultimate goal of connecting to your career space, or at least starting your career as you move forward, as well as taking advantage of leveraging the relationships they have in and outside of the Brown School. We want to help you manage, of course, any personal or professional or academic concerns that you have. I'll say this is something that we started seeing in admissions when I worked there some years back. Graduate school is hard. If nobody's ever told you at this point, we're going to be very clear and tell you that graduate school is difficult. I mean, for some of you, the curriculum could be pretty difficult. For some of you, the curriculum may be a little easier to navigate, but there are things outside of the classroom or stressors about the future that may come up for you. And so we are here to really engage with you in conversations about all of those challenges that you may face, both, of course, in and outside of the classroom. We want to make sure that our programs can be complex to navigate, and they're constantly shifting and advancing and improving. And so we want to help you make sure that you stay on track there as well. And of course, we're going to refer you to some of our internal resources like our communications lab, mental health services, disability services, and others. So here's what you need to look out for. In June, you will be assigned an academic advisor. They're going to help you by providing, or at least connecting you with some of the resources and helping you make sure that you are registering for the correct courses and answer any questions around policies and procedures. We do a planning sheet with you each individually to make sure that we, of course, stay on track, and that so that we minimize any misunderstandings or missteps to keep you along your way towards the ultimate goal, which is graduation, and that is the ultimate goal here. Well, I guess the probably larger goals. Your goals are to help the world in your own unique ways, and so we're here to make that happen, but through an academic standpoint. Of course, again, we're going to make the referrals and discuss any concerns that you have, as well as assist with your personal and professional and academic development. Finally, once we get a chance to work with you as academic advisors to look at your course offerings, we'll be approving your registration every semester. So for your first semester, for sure, you're going to want to meet with us this summer. After that, it could be a little bit more optional, but you will still have to work with us to make sure you are authorized. Your faculty/concentration advisors will be assigned to you in August for advanced standing students, or January for the rest of the students. These folks are here to help guide you through connecting your in-classroom experience to what your professional outlook is going to be and what your work is going to be in the future. We're going to work with you on identifying and looking for career options, as well as integrating both your in-the-field practical experience to your classroom experience. Some of you may know exactly what you want to do. Some of you may change your minds when you get here. And there's a lot of people here in this role who can help you navigate that piece, because you may think you want to focus on mental health, but later on you might realize you really want to work with children, youth, or family. And you may think that you want to be a generalist, but you got a knack for research, and so epidemiology, biostatistics may be something that is important to you. And so these folks can help talk you through that as well. And again, they're here to refer you as well, another layer of support.
I'll talk a little bit more about student involvement. So again, I'm Deshaun Scott. My office also comprised of Elise Harvey. She's the Academic and Student Services Advisor, which you all will meet over the summer. So Josh said grad school is hard. So you're probably thinking like, why am I talking about student involvement? What's the purpose of student involvement? So there's been a lot of studies showing that revealing that getting involved outside of the classroom can help improve your communication skills, can help improve your grades, can also help you learn more about yourself and the community within Brown School and WashU itself. So at the Brown School, we cultivated student experiences that support students' belonging, learning, and voice. So these are three categories, three themes that I talk about and that I live by through the Brown School and in my position. So at belonging, our goal is for every student to be able to connect and find community at WashU and the Brown School. So we have our Student Coordinated Council, which I'll talk about a little bit later in this presentation, which is the student's voice at WashU, which provides quality leadership for and accountability by recognizing that strengths arise from diversity, engagement, and dialogue. So at the Brown School, we have about 14 affinity groups, and we talk about the importance of community and inclusivity. So our work exists through relationships of trust and mutual respect that create a sense of belonging. So we cultivate community through a connected collective network. We also collaborate with the WashU community to help create a supportive and safe environment as well. So we always provide resources. How do you get engaged? How do you see yourself? Who are people that may share similar characteristics within the Brown School and the WashU community as well? But within the student groups, if you don't see one that you may not fit in, you can always create your own with the help of myself and the Student Coordinated Council. So with learning, there's three things: outside the classroom learning experiences, development, and well-being. So students get involved, will get a hands-on experiential, allergy season, y'all, sorry. But students will get a hands-on experiential programming and leadership skills. We focus on leadership and identity development, belonging and inclusion, civic engagement and participation, and financial responsibility by supporting traditions, initiatives, and communities that benefits the student body. So with development, we prioritize the development of the whole person so that everyone realizes their full potential. We understand you're not only a student. Some of you all could be part of a parent, you are a sibling, you are probably a veteran, you are probably getting involved outside your community, may have a part-time job. You have all these different aspects that make up who you are. So letting students understand that you're more than just a student. You're more than just a number. We want to get to know you. Other students want to get to know you by your story, by your name here at the Brown School as well. The last thing is about well-being. Well-being has been very important, especially over the pandemic. Mental health has been prioritized all across the country. but we create campus environment that promote wellness as a foundation of a productive and positive experience. We respect each other and hold one another accountable for practices that help our community thrive. So even with that, learning that we all have different experiences and we're all learning, regardless of what identities you have, you all going to share this common identity, which is you all are Brown School students, part of WashU community. So taking the time to listen, to understand each other instead of listening to debate. And that's been the big one right now. It's just, how do you listen to someone who have different opinions and views? So we're here to help you all navigate those situations and those conversations in those classrooms, because you may interact with someone that it may be their first time interacting with a minority or probably their first time being at a predominantly white institution. So we're here to help you navigate this process. The last one is voice. So we have our Student Coordinated Council. So the mission of SEC is to ensure that the Brown School remains a global competitor in public health, social work, and social policy education through the promotion of culture, of diversity, empowerment, and cultural. So with the Student Coordinated Council, they advocate for the Brown School community through town halls. So once a semester, at public health, social work, and social policy program have a town hall for you all to engage with the faculty and staff, to share your concerns, to hear about updates, changes, and transition that's going on. So we try our best to be as transparent as we can to update you on things that's going on. They also work with faculty and staff members. So there's a lot of committees within the Brown School that you can get involved with. We also talk about mid-semester evaluations, what they look like. And as Student Coordinated Council also creates statements on different issues or different updates that's going on within the student body.
I'd like to talk about our career services department. So we used to say, begin with the end in mind. And the idea behind that is you are here to get an education and experiences that are going to develop you and prepare you for a future of contribution through policy, practice, and research work. And this team that's on the screen now is dedicated towards working to support you with that. We are currently in the process of hiring a new director of career services, and the university is going through an overhaul where they are centralizing career services. But there's a commitment to having dedicated staff members who will support you navigating this space. The Career Center is not a job center. We're not here just to get you jobs. We're here to help you identify the skills, the abilities, the resources that are needed for you to be able to have an entire career where your vocation can be your avocation, can be something that's really important to you, and can be a way in which you connect, like the Buckner quote says, your greatest joy to the world's greatest needs. Our team members consist currently right now, I'm acting as director along with my role as assistant dean of student affairs. Amber Brown is our career advisor. Amber has a lot of years of experience in the career space and been with the Brown School for about 6 years, 5 or 6 years, and works directly with a lot of students. And I'm sure when you talk to students who are currently enrolled at the Brown School, you'll see that she's very popular. She does a great job at supporting students. We have April Chanel. So we have a partnership with the Danforth University Larger Career Center, and April Chanel joins us for about 6 hours a week or so. And so she has a lot of years experience. I would say at this point, decades of experience, and she's an alumni of the Brown School. But she can help you identify things that are important to you and as you try to navigate connecting your experience here at the Brown School in the future. And then Andy Harbour has a number of years experience in career services, as well as experiences in the HR world prior to his time in higher education. And so he's with us a couple hours a week. Andy can help you also with medical school interviews for those of you who are deciding or considering applying to medical school. He's one of our talented team members who can help support in that area. So we are physically located on the ground level of Hillman Hall, which is in 150. And while we're mostly working from home, if things continue to trend in a positive note when it comes to the pandemic, that's where you'll be able to find us. But you'll always be able to find us remotely. And so we have a system that we use currently called Simplicity. We are going to transition to Handshake. And that's where you'll be able to schedule meetings with this team. We have 2 full-time staff members, 3 part-time staff members, and 2 student workers who really support the behind the scenes as well as engaging with you up front as well. We want to focus again on your career and leadership development, not only in getting your next job, but through a lifespan. And so part of that means that the Career Center is available to you even after your time at the Brown School. So this means that if you are 3, 5, 20 years into your career, we're here to help you update that resume and really think through what the best next steps are, which is an incredible resource, I can tell you as a professional, to be able to have access to that. And I can tell you from personal experience that we've met with people who've graduated from the 90s, and I, in fact, met with somebody a couple of years ago from the 80s who's looking for an executive position and just needed a refresh on their resume and some resources. And so, again, we are truly here for you beyond your time. The value of that alone is so worth it, considering how much it costs to get career coaching and executive coaching outside of the career space. And this is available to you free as an alumni. Right now, all of our appointments and events are virtual, but we've had at least one in-person event. And again, if things continue to trend the way they do, we will start having more in-person events and appointments for you to work with us one-on-one in small groups and as a team. As far as the types of appointments that we provide, we do everything from, I don't know what I want to do, I just know that I'm interested in several areas. So helping you really explore that. We do programs on resumes and cover letters. We do have a particular approach to creating resumes and cover letters that we find most effective in the job space. And so we will teach you about that through active programming. You can do individual interview preparation. So that's where we sit across from you in a room or on a Zoom screen to go through a mock interview. Part of that is we're going to give you some honest feedback. I remember as an undergraduate student back in the day when we used to use VHS tapes, they used to record us to do our interviews. And I used to have some odd tics that I did. And it was hard to see that on camera, but it helped me get rid of them and improve my ability to interview better. Well, we're going to be able to do that for you live. We'll give you some honest feedback on that as well. Well, of course, we'll help you with the job search process. There's fellowships and PhD opportunities that we constantly get. We'll help you up your LinkedIn game. I think a lot of people, depending on what generation you're in, are interested in LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is really where the employer is at. So we're going to help you doing that. It's a great place for networking. And we'll also help you with the difficult topic of salary negotiations. I think that when it comes to money, that can be a pretty sensitive topic. Just as a sidebar, I have a strong opinion on this, and this is not the opinion of the Brown School. But you are not in this career in order to be a money martyr. That means that when you leave here, you're not here at the Brown School to study social work, social policy, and public health to make millions of dollars. However, we do think that you should get what you're worth and what your value is. So we can help you identify how you can have that conversations with employers to make sure that you're getting the most resources. And I promise you that if you're making too much money at any point in your career, I trust that you'll find a way to give some of that money to people in need. So I want to really put that little plug in there as well. We have a variety of events, of course, presentations, through student engagement. We have employer engagement. We bring actual employers on campus and via Zoom from all over the country. We connect you with our alumni with alumni happy hours and career conversations where they'll come in and talk about their actual careers within the field so you can learn about somebody who was in your spot 5, 10, 15 years ago. And then, of course, we provide workshop opportunities as well.
Does anyone have any questions for us?
If you have questions, you feel free to come off mic or you can put them in the chat and we'll keep up with you. Here we go. Thank you, Hannah. So one of the things I should tell you, for those of you who are uncomfortable in silent spaces, it's a great facilitation tool. Just to be quiet, because eventually somebody will pop. And so take that with you. That one's on the house. That one's free. You don't have to be enrolled to get that piece of advice. All right, so this question that came in is, could you talk about what types of jobs folks usually go for after into graduating? Hannah, that is a great question. So on the Brown School website, you'll be able to, if you type in careers, you'll be able to find our career outcomes report, which will give you a kind of a list of different types of careers that people have gone into. But of course, it really just depends. We have students who work in Capitol Hill, we have students who do policy work. We have students who've gone on to med school and work as physicians, students who work for a nonprofit as either direct practitioners or even nonprofit leaders, depending on where. We have students who do direct practice when it comes in the therapeutic space. You know, we have had really some students who've actually opened up their own practices. And so, you know, they work in the courts, you have police officers. It's really interesting. The degree programs that you all are exploring are wonderful in that they set you up for a lot of options. And so the great thing about that is that we have a wide variety of alumni around the country and around the world that we can engage with and connect you with in order to learn more about those types of opportunities. What I would encourage you to do is to sit down. I think in the chat, Sarah posted our 2019-2020 career report. Our 2020-21 report will be coming out pretty soon here. And so we'll get that updated on the website so you can see some of our more recent graduates. Here's the interesting thing. During the pandemic, well, when the pandemic started, right away people were getting furloughed, people were looking for jobs, and that was a very difficult thing that maybe some of you have had faced directly, or people you care about and faced directly as well. And that was a challenging thing. But we're in this really odd space now where they call it the Great Resignation, where people have had a lot of time over the last few years to sit at home and really think about what they want to do with their lives. And so people have left certain spaces and have explored different things. And so leaving a lot of employers, including sometimes us here at the Brown School and at Washington University, in a position where we're looking for really talented individuals who want to do good work. And so you are in a unique time in going into grad school and getting the skills and preparing you for the future. So our team can work with you to identify, like, what is it that you really want to do? The other thing is I got a question from a student earlier, and she said she was trying to figure out all the things that she wanted to do, and she was having probably a little bit of stress around that. I'm here to remind you that a career can be a very long time. For some of us, it feels very long. I happen to have the mindset that I'm not rushing towards retirement. I feel like I'm getting old enough as it is, so I'm really trying to slow it down. So I like when the weeks drag on, but that's just my problem. It's a long career, and you don't need to fit everything in your first job outside of graduate school. What you need to do is you need to start thinking about what are the things that you want to, who do you want to be, and what do you want to do, and what is the world that you want to see, and how do you want to contribute to that? My guess is if you can answer that question, there are a lot of things you can do in order to meet that need, right? To meet the world's great need, it's hunger. And so if you can think about that, then over a career lifespan, you're going to end up doing a lot of different things. My challenge to that student was, don't try to do them all at once. You know, you might want to do direct practice, and then you might want to do policy work, and then you might want to open up a nonprofit. Hannah says hunger is an issue of area of interest. You might want to address that issue. And there are a lot of different ways. Unfortunately, there is no shortage of need. Unfortunately, there's no shortage of need. But fortunately, you all are stepping up to do that. And so I want to think you all to think about your career lifespan, whether it's 20 years, for me, 20 years left, 30 years, 40 years. It's a long time regardless. And how do you get to have several different lifetimes within your career lifespan? I think that's an amazing opportunity. We live in a time where we get to do that. We get to switch and grow and add things. And so maybe you can do a couple of things in your first job and a few things in your next job. And maybe at the very end, you can do it all. But you know, to put yourself at ease, again, you're composing a life, you're composing a career. So I want you to think about it in terms of doing that. And so we're here to help you, again, navigate the next step. And my guess is the next step will get you into, to figure out the next step. Yes, so a request was an in-person conversation with the Career Services Department staff member. Absolutely. So if you'd like to meet with us in person, you can work with admissions and recruitment, and they can set you up if you're an admitted student, because obviously we don't have your information, and they can make the connections. And please specify that you want to meet in person. All on campus at least 3 days a week, or typically 3 days a week. Our other team at Amber is on campus a couple days a week as well. And so we'd be happy to meet with you in person as long as you feel safe and you're vaccinated, which is a requirement for the university. Then we'd be more than happy to meet with you one-on-one and in person. What other questions? You're welcome. I know you're going to engage with current students here this morning as well, so I'm excited for them to share with you their experiences. They've come in at an interesting time. I mean, those of us who've been at the Brown School for a long time, you know, we remember when the hallways were bustling with people. I mean, I'm sure you all remember that in your own respective lives. And it's been such an interesting thing to observe going into the pandemic and the level of student engagement dropping off because people were sick of Zoom. So I'm grateful for those of you who showed up today. To now slowly opening back up and seeing more and more students on campus. And what I'm noticing is that there's more of a desire for students to get together in person because now we feel safe, we're connected. And I'm super thrilled to be working with Deshaun and to see the work that him and Elise are doing to make sure that students have spaces to get connected. One of the biggest things is food. You know, yes, sure, you want to get together because you have something in common. And I 100% agree with you on that. But food is like a really, really big opportunity to engage and connect. And so, so we're starting to do that slowly as well. And that's super exciting. And another thing I'll say is one of the things we used to do was called TGIT, which is thank goodness it's Thursday or thank goodness it's Friday. And so I anticipate that will come back. That's an opportunity for students to have non-alcoholic beverages, alcoholic beverages, to have food on campus, and to engage and connect and to I guess, to celebrate time together or to network. This is your first network when it comes to grad school is your peers. It's a great group to network with. And so as you just figure out where you're going to go next, which you should come here. I can't go through a session with admissions without saying like your decision, you just come here. Let's just make it easy so that now we can start the next step, which is, you know, how we can make sure that you have a great experience. So when you decide to come here, then I want to encourage you to find ways to, as safely as you feel, get engaged, stay connected with people, because your first network are your peers, and those are people who you're going to know throughout your career lifespan. I still stay in touch with the people I went through my master's program with. We still stay engaged and connected, and so we want you to do that here as well.
My only advice is start early, as early as possible, because housing, you know, you need to reach out, especially like if you don't have like a plan in place, you know. So you need to reach out for the resources that WashU had already provided and check, you know, from now, because basically I think most of the leases will end by end of July, but regardless, you will need to start searching from now. That's basically for housing. When you are here, please do your ITIN or social security number as soon as possible, because it's really, really important. These kind of small little things, the documents, you really need to focus on. The third thing is that don't feel intimidated, because at the end, you are an international student who when you come here to WashU, you're gonna contribute to the community. So you're gonna say your opinion, you're gonna speak about your experience, so don't feel intimidated. Just share your ideas, share your thoughts, and share your experience. It's like a very kind of bi-directional learning environment. We learn from each other. So this is basically my advice.
That's really good, Ali. Another thing that I would add is try connecting with international alumni. When I first came to the Brown School, none of my brain cell had any grasp of like the importance of networking or just connect with people who has gone through the same path that I went through. But because of our amazing global program manager, Zizi, who is also here, and she has arranged a series of roundtable or panels inviting international alumni and hearing their stories, I realized, wow, I I'm here like alone figuring out so many things that there's so many predecessors and people who have already gone through, and it would be so easier and so much easier for me to just talk to them, learning about their experience, what they've struggled, what they have done to reach their place today. And another thing that is different for international students is you have to decide whether you want to stay in the US or going back to your home country. And I think that's a tough decision to make, and just talking to people is a great way to figure out what is important to you as a family. Is it your value? Yeah, just connecting with other international students and especially alumni. It's a great resource.
Thank you so much. It sounds like there are things to consider before and while you get here, and you all gave some great advice, both for international students as well as all of our students for the transition with Deja and Tori. Yeah, I do think it sounds like there's a noon session today to talk about housing in St. Louis. So that's gonna be a great one for you all to tune into and get some more information there. Yeah, and Sarah said there's a few spots in virtual tours left over for folks who haven't registered. So again, if you can't, the great thing about searching for graduate schools right now is that I knew when I was an undergrad, I couldn't visit campuses. This was not in my world. And so we have a lot of resources for you to connect and engage and learn more about being here physically. All right, sorry to extend it longer. I was curious, and I love hearing our students. The last thing I'll say then, okay, this is the last thing. It may, but it has 5 parts. I'm just joking. It may feel intimidating when you see these wonderful superstars, you know, Tori, Deja, Felicity, Ali, others. And it may feel intimidating to kind of see that level of student and to think, wow, they seem like they have it all together. And how am I going to match up with them? And then Deja's like, nope. To see some slow, I see all no's. Okay. You know, what they're doing is what I think a lot of us do is, definitely not me, is that they're acting encouraged, they're stepping forward towards the challenge, whether you're coming from another state in the country or from St. Louis or from outside of the United States. They've made a brave decision and they've stepped encouraged, and they've brought challenges with them. They've taken on challenges for the Brown School, and they've found ways to connect, engage. And in fact, they're showing their leadership by just stepping up here. But they will tell you they're not superheroes, none of us are. And so if there's any doubt in your mind, if you can fit in or belong here, it sounds to me like what I've heard is that there's a space for anybody who wants to engage and make a difference in the world, and have a great space for 2 to 3 years to develop those skills and relationships in order to leverage that towards making a difference. And so I'm super excited about anybody who chooses to. Realistically, I always tell every student you should come here. We can't, you know, if you know, I think our faculty would get mad at us if every student I told to come here would be here, we'd be overwhelmed. But you know, I love hearing from our students, because regardless of their challenges and what they always tell you are setbacks, they act encouraged and they step up and they're doing some amazing things, and they're going to continue to do amazing things. All right, that's my Oprah moment. I'm done, and thank you all.
All right, thank you so much, Josh, Deshawn, all of our current students. Really appreciate you taking the time this morning to connect with our incoming students. Please do check out the schedule for what's to come the rest of the day. Lots of great sessions coming up, and we hope to see you at later sessions. Thanks, everyone.